Innervision, taking you to a new level of Christian radio. www.innervisionrecords.org, the official website of Innervision.
Send us feedback, requests.
Help spread the word about local musicians. We are Inner FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's who we love and that's who we serve around here. We love the Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Is it running now? Yeah. Hi everybody, this is the Godfather Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it.
Okay, thank you very much.
How dare you?
Okay.
Back from the dead, the elusive James Brown, the hardest working dead man in show business.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Much like our voters today, is so many people in the voter roll that are dead and still voting. Hey, what can we say? From the living to the dead, from the dead to living. Hey, people like to cross over. Hey,
We want to welcome everybody to the Innervision FM universe. Hit us up at paypal.me/Innervision Denver and join our sponsors such as Christian Brothers Moving Company in the great state of Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, and also in Englewood, Colorado. We have Eeny Meeny Grants and Denver Art Venues, Colorado Art Relief Fund. These guys help us to promote grassroots musicians and recording artists. So we'll be joined by one of those today, later on. We're also going to cover a review of a movie called Spinning Gold. You're not going to want to miss today's broadcast on Innervision FM. So welcome and like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.
yes. So I went to see this movie this Saturday, and this reviewer, this young punk, gave it a 31.
A 31.
Yes, and I'm thinking like this punk, he's probably like not wet behind the ears, whatever. But this movie was fantastic.
Really?
I mean, it was like Isley Brothers in a little competition between the guy who owned the record company and Ron Isley. And I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to put in spoilers, but I found out that this movie, the children put this movie together.
Wow.
And I'm thinking like, because this guy had died at the age of 39 years old.
Okay.
I mean, he did all the stuff and he lived in on the edge and he believed in music, and I could feel what he was saying, like. Because I went to Kiss concert and they had this platform that would raise up and would turn the drums one way and all these fireworks would come out and stuff like that. And man, I really got into it as a teenager, 16-year-old teenager.
Absolutely. A Kiss concert where they got the drums and they're rotating. And man, they had back in those days, they also had a cartoon back in those days. They marketed themselves well. So it was interesting. Go on.
And then when George Clinton, he was having a legal dispute with Parliament. He had signed with another record company, and they wouldn't let him go out on the road. They wanted to shelf him. So he developed this other group called Funkadelics, and so he performed the Funkadelics. And then when he got on the Columbia record, he says, he needed a spaceship because the story was told like him and Bootsy Collins was driving down the Ohio highway, and they said a spaceship landed in front of them. Now, most people don't know that, George Clinton was pretty heavy in the cocaine, and and some other mind-altering drugs. So we don't know if that was real or if it was just a figment of his imagination because of the drugs. But he was kind of convinced the owner that we need $1 million to get the spaceship, and then that was kind of the downfall of the guy from Columbia Records, because he started giving him cocaine, and the guy was really getting into it. And then the guy said, "Okay, we'll get you the $1 million spaceship." And I'm thinking like,
Wow.
And then eventually George Clinton got a lot into cocaine, and he lost everything. And then his career was brought back when he did the song "Dog." It's like, so anyway, so that was popular. And then Gladys Knight and the story about like Midnight Train to Georgia. It wasn't Midnight Train to Georgia. It was another, it was Midnight Train to, I don't know, Texas or something like that. They said that, hey, that's not going to make work because most of my people are in Georgia, so we're going to have to change that, right? So I'm just telling you like little parts that, I mean, there's a biography on a platform that you can see the biography of George Clinton, and how George Clinton got jealous over he created these Bride of Frankenstein, and he got jealous over a group that he created.
Wow.
Oh man,
Spinning Gold, ladies and gentlemen, check that movie out. That's interesting. Yes. Speaking of movies, we're doing a $1 million fundraiser for a movie that you're one of the first blind film producers ever, and in Colorado anyway, that we know of. Back in the 90s, 1991, you created a movie called Even Me.
Yes.
And so folks, check it out. It's on YouTube. It's a independent film of sorts. So I mean, it was an effort to bring the spotlight to the music industry, and you're going to recreate that in today's terms. Is that?
And the one special thing, I use real disabled people acting the parts.
Real disabled people, folks. We also employ bodied folks as well. I mean, anybody in front of the camera, behind the camera, any sort of talent, whether you're disabled or not, we want to see you visit us at innervisionrecords.org.
Yeah, and we definitely need some artists to help us put together the soundtrack, because my friend who was at the time, he put together the whole soundtrack. He's no longer doing stuff like that, just because he lost his hearing, and he decided not to be a Beethoven, so he just decided to step out of the music part of the business. So we want to put together a whole new soundtrack and everything like that, and just update, because some of the things we did back then it would be considered to be not illegal. What's the other word? Politic words.
Politically incorrect.
Yeah, politically incorrect. Yes.
Things that were funny back in those days is not even touched these days.
Yes.
But
we can get around a lot of that stuff. We're going to have fun with it, but we're just going to update it. So
that's right.
All
so
right.
We're joined by, help me out with the name, Caserny.
He was a lot better than the percentage that I've heard through my life. Yes, it is.
Give us the spelling, like the whole spelling. It's like
CAZERNY. Google it.
Caserny. Yeah.
This cat's great, man. He's got about 2,000 views on his YouTube channel. Found him the other day through a group that services blind and visually impaired folks, and we help to service and promote grassroots musicians, whether they're physically disabled, financially challenged, or both, and that pretty much includes everybody these days. So we just want to help anybody and everybody out with their music, and if you're a recording artist, especially in these days with digital audio workstations, AI, that thing taking over the music industry, just kind of get your thoughts as a recording artist and musician, where things are going, and where you see things in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the music industry.
Yeah. And what I listened to some of these songs, and I said, man, good
It's pretty
quality, good quality and good vocals. And it's like, sometimes I hear a lot of music, and sometimes you get this music and you say, oh, I don't know about that. But this one, I say, man, this was right on. And I said, hey, we gotta get him on the show. And Alan hooked it up. I said, okay. I said, go with your bad self, Alan. So, and then I think I saw a show with you on this. It sounded like it was a cooking show, and you were sharing a recipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do quite, and I thank you for your, impeccable ear to hear, great talents. I also appreciate you guys for allowing me on this platform. I did do my due diligence, and the organization that you have is like a great organization, and I think it's really a staple and necessary, for the times that we are in. So I do really, give you guys my thanks for having me on the platform.
Yeah. And it's like some of the things happening around the world. It's like that internet. I have been able to meet people that I wouldn't normally meet. I mean, I would back in the day, before the internet, I would have to physically go there and either know a relative of a cousin of a relative to meet you.
Right.
And your dad, yeah, like I think he's probably my contemporary. And he did something I wish I would do. I only had 2 kids, but he was cranking it, boy.
Right. Yeah, he seen a gift and he ran with it, and I appreciate him for that too.
Yeah, man. I said, yeah, I like to have, because I'm from a family of 8. But I hear that you're from a family of 12, right?
Yeah.
And did I understand you're the oldest?
Yeah.
Get out of here. It's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I actually have 5 children of my own, and my youngest is older than his uncle, so it's kind of funny, but that's the way it goes,
Oh yeah.
Very musical. He growing up, he was a part of the group Stetsasonic. Daddy-O is my uncle, so I've grown up around, some of the greats out there, and just to guide me and steer me in the right path of, quality and music and performance. So I did kind of have, a support team and push, in that aspect.
And he started out with you young. Tell us about that part.
Yeah, when I was about, I would say from birth, maybe. I just couldn't remember that far. But I do remember being 5 years old, playing Mario for Super Nintendo, and he would be like, everybody that came over the house, he would be like, Ernie, come out here and sing that song. He taught me this song by Escape, Run to the Arms of the One Who Loves You. And that was a real high song. I wish I had that range, or maybe not, but I used to hit every single note, and everybody that would come, he would be like, sing that song, boy. Yeah, I was like, Dad, I just want to play Mario, man. That's all I want to do. So, kid wants to do. But he definitely had me singing and harmonizing. We grew up around back in them days when I was growing up. We didn't really have these Bluetooth link speakers, so it was always kind of systems, like 12 inches, 15 inches, and the woofers, and it's just big music around me, growing up. So I just kind of was drawn to the music, So that's what started it. Every time my father got a chance to display my talent, and I do emphasize that my father was really the one at 5, because maybe I wasn't the one at 5, but as I got older, I kind of embraced it on my own, and here I am today.
Now, how did you get into the, if you did, the technical part of capturing your voice and then learning how to mix it? Did you ever tell us about that part?
Stage 2, and you know what, I thought I was unique to this story, but I had a time just when I was about I would say 9, 10 years old when I had like tape recorders, right?
Yeah, oh
And
yeah.
I would play one tape and record, take that tape out and dub it with a harmony, and then
I
I would even
remember.
3-piece harmony on that tape. And for some reason, I guess the way I positioned the recording, they were sounding so good, and I just always had an ear for balance and frequencies and yeah, like anytime I had the opportunity to just make music, man, I would take it, and I didn't have the means of studios at the time. When I would go to the studios in them days, I was just kind of more so going and looking at the guys, work off the 12 tracks, 2-track, the 8 DATs and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I didn't know how to use the actual equipment, but as soon as I got that opportunity, I think I recorded my first song professionally at the age of 12. And from that day, when I was in that studio, I just knew, I was like, wow, this is magic to hear, what I did. And then I was like, oh no, we got to do it. And they're like, wait, let's put some mixing on it, And I was like,
Mastering everything.
and then the magic, how it transformed, it was like, I got to really get into that, And it started from that day at 12, man. I started getting into the technical aspect of it.
It's interesting because music helps to unite everybody. And, the interesting thing about music is that, you can touch people in the religious arena. You can touch people in the secular arena. You can touch people all points in between and take everybody and really literally unite people around one fact or one message or one, even just a simple jingle. Mary Had a Little Lamb. I mean, look at how that particular jingle has stood the test of time for 400 years. And
Yeah.
I mean, probably started as a nursery rhyme or whatever. But I mean, something just as simple as Mary Had a Little Lamb, has stood the test of time. And it's interesting because a lot of folks these days, well, we're flooded with information. And so there's lots of content creators out there. What makes you and your message, your music, your stuff stand out, Kasuni? Because it does stand out, folks. You guys got to check this guy out.
Oh yeah,
man. I'm so glad you went on that. It's kind of like we was kind of aligned in thought process, because as you were speaking, I was kind of getting to why it's so important. Why? Because a lot of times, sometimes these days you mention music to people and they like, go get a day job, And music is one of voices, it's one of the biggest means to communicate, even back in the day where, we didn't have the social outlets that we do, today.
That's
music
right.
Means of transferring messages, and information. And, through the Great Depression, music is probably the thing that was able to, stand the test of time, and uplift many. So, that's just what music is for me. It's an outlet for me to express my vision, my outlook on the world's view. I did lose my sight at 15 years old.
Right.
I was and I went to a school for the blind, actually, Frank Sinatra, the School of Performance Arts. And, I love the school. Tony Bennett founded the school. It was a smaller school. It was new. They picked a select few. Lucky me.
Hey.
And when I lost my sight that sophomore year, something happened that day. Because I like I said, I recorded my first song at 12, and I would kind of write experience, and I was writing about the girls at the time, and motivating people through my life. And when I lost my sight, I gained a vision. The same exact day. I tell people that it was an instant shift. It was a loss of sight and a gain of vision, right? And for me, that it was really a game changer, because now what I thought, you know, the perception of the world has given to me, now I'm viewing it from a whole different perspective, you know, and I realized that a lot of people are kind of blinded by their situations and their outcomes and environments and what they grew up in. And, you know, you are what you eat, you're the product of your environment. And I saw music as being an outlet to show people beyond, that because I was blinded when I went to a new environment. Actually, when I lost my sight, my mom was playing tricks on me, I guess, because I would think that I could see. It would be like I would have this vision of my neighborhood in my head. It took a while for me. And when I really came to the, fact that I was blind, I realized that, wow, I can still see. But when I went to places I wasn't familiar with, that's when I realized I was blind for real. And I think that my music has the ability to give people vision, and stuff, because I'm showing them, and my whole intent is to try to impact people. I'm really into uplifting and, just being an example and a role model, and music is the gift I have to send that message through. So yeah, I really have a unique story in the sense that my life is not just my own, but it is really to, enhance.
Let me ask you this, from one person who had a detached retina to another. Okay, when my retina detached, it seemed like everything was getting bright, because I had like 14 corneal transplants, and I probably should have stopped at 12, but it was kind of cool to get a vacation over being either very nearsighted or all that kind of stuff. So what I noticed is I see internal lights like a deep green, or maybe like a bright white, but it's nothing external.
Absolutely. And
the same thing.
So you know what? You're actually the first person that put it to me the way I see it. Because I often wonder, because when you think of blindness, you think of blackness.
Yeah.
Definitely not. No,
it's not true. It's not true.
All right. It's not blackness. Some people have different levels of vision loss, and the ones that are blind, I guess behind the lights, maybe it's blackness, but never know.
From somebody that's totally blind, you see nothing. It's not black. It's just nothing. There's nothing.
Right. Right.
It's almost like, but like all ants are blind.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a cool fact. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they live in a community, and they get they build these holes and all that kind of stuff, and and they get along just fine. And then there's another, I forgot what it was called, but it was another. It looks like a mouse, but there's another animal that's totally blind as well.
There's a mole.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, yeah. So it's like we think that, hey, I mean, we have this in this world. We've built a world that for sighted people and so forth, and then they make things adoptable for us who are out on the outsides, the fringes of that. But the concept of what we can see, depending on people, I've had guys. Oh yeah, for instance, this one guy told me this girl is really beautiful, but when I went up to her and smelled her, I said, she didn't smell that pretty. But to you, if it's pretty to you, and your nose cuts off, hey, that's on you.
That's why I've always liked your particular vision with stuff. I mean, I met you back in 91 when you started making the movie Even Me. And I was busy doing my own thing, but you did catch one of the eyes, so to speak, of this blind friend of mine from high school, Aaron Espinoza. He's actually the star in the movie. God rest his soul. Some stuff happened to him. I mean, life happened to him, and you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So that's a story for another time entirely. But big thing there being is, you give up. You never give up. You never give up. You never yield. You never give in. You never stop. You know, if you've got a goal that you want to have accomplished, you get in there and you never stop. You know, that's what the school's all about. And you surround yourself with folks that have that same exact mindset, that inner vision, as it were. You know, the innervisionrecords.org, the innervisionfm.com, info at innervisionfm.com is how you get on a newsletter. And, you know, submit, you know, any topics that you guys might want to see in the universe there. If you're watching us on YouTube, Getter, True Social, Facebook, Rumble, I mean, Twitter, we're everywhere. And it's because of you guys. It's because of sponsors, of course, you know, if you want to become one. But, you know, the main thing is because of you guys. And it's because we want to serve the blind community.
Oh, yeah. Now, tell me something about the part of, because you're in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm actually in North Carolina. I'm from New York, so I'm back and forth. Yep.
Oh, okay. So in your community, you do events. So you don't play piano. So you're on the stage and stuff like that. And we had this one guy named Tom Sullivan. Like he was so independent on stage, where one time I guess he moved and he never used the cane, so he ended up like, you know, sort of like entering into the audience in a new way.
Hellcat, man.
Funny story. I was doing a show out with the rap. It was Young Money. I think I was about
I've heard of him.
18. Yeah, I was doing it. They did a showcase out in it was in New Jersey, and it's this night spot. I was on stage and I had this real popular song. This is my artist name at that time was actually CJ from Brooklyn. And you know, I had more of a hip hoppy sound, and you know, I had this song called Cold Outside. So I did the song, and it was a real cool song because I brought about like 15 people with me, and they were singing the song with me. Probably about 250 people in the crowd. It just sounded like, you know. So I'm involved in the energy, and something strange happened. My uncle came on stage, and I'm putting the story out there. He comes on stage. Why would he do this? I don't know why he did. He comes on stage, put his arm around my waist, and kind of moved me back to the center of the stage. And I'm like, everybody
got to be right here. You can't
so upset with him. It was like, why would he do that? And in his mind, he was just thinking like, yo.
Oh, man.
You know? So that was one of those experiences for me where, you know.
Just say to people, this is how you can relate to it. Close your eyes and start jumping up and down, and do that for like about 2-3 minutes, and you'll find that you're going to be somewhere other than where you thought you were.
Playing? Oh gosh, energy. We got a show together as far as, you know, dances and centering, and you know, it's creative forms. You know, some people do great shows with a spotlight on a chair. You know, it just depends on the record and the environment to paint. But yeah, it's definitely not a piano. I do play. I didn't master the art of piano, because I know some masters, but basically anything I hear with my ear, I can play it. You know, to read a music, and to, you know, I'm not really into that, but I do produce. So you know, any tune that come to my head, I could kind of get it out, you know, through the workstations.
Now, do you produce other artists as well?
Say that one more time.
Do you produce other artists as well?
Yeah, I produced a couple of artists. I'm actually with a team now, a team of blind creatives, man. I think they're really cool. I linked up with them.
Tell us about that.
Throw their name out there. Who are these guys?
Yeah, BMG, man. They're awesome, man. One of the producers is really moving around and the world, especially visually impaired community. His name is Jay Breezy. He actually did the way he said, my name is on all of Blind Fairy's release records.
Released. Yeah.
Every record that was released by Blind Fairy, Jay Breezy did it. But yeah, he's like, he's really proud of like a lot of the things he did with Scarface and a lot of different artists, Lil Flip. So he's working. Really cool guys, man. I didn't even know it existed, that it could be a
Me
group
too.
of people, one circle that is so talented. All the guys are engineers and producers and artists, and they're together uniting as a collective body to really push forward in music. When I got introduced to that, I quickly got aboard because I think that it is really that I'm not into making like the world a blind world or anything like that.
No, but it's cool to definitely help your blind brethren or your blind sisters, your blind whatever. Those that are blind or physically disabled or otherwise financially challenged. It doesn't matter. We're all in it together. I mean,
give each other a hand up, right? Not necessarily a hand out, but a hand up.
Yeah. So we're all in it together. I mean, that's the main thing. Whether we got a physical disability or whether we got a financial disability, because these days we're united, brother. I mean, this is all there is. I mean, so
I with that being said, as far as like music, like it brings a lot, especially when you got a good sound and you attract people. It brings a level of influence. It does. I use that, like I said, I opened up a company last year, September actually. In the organization, it's called Even Though I'm Blind. That's the name of the organization. 501c3, and we just really are a media outlet. It's not really, for only musicians, but we definitely report on exceptional brands that are blind and visually impaired, and we are in the process of, getting their stories out there, to the larger public, and just showing them what people are able to accomplish and achieve, even though they're blind, or even though I'm blind. We're dealing with some really great acts, on different levels. Do my due diligence to this whole thing. I realized that the lawyer from Google is totally blind, And I'm like,
did not know that. That's a fascinating piece of information. That is actually very fascinating. Folks, whether you're blind or whether you're not blind, we all want to fit in. We all want to belong. And, some of us get our rocks off by, getting our salvation, which we believe to be eternal, and that's the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's whom we all have our movement and our being. And you can find that salvation today by 1 Corinthians chapter 15. But, for others of us, hey, one life is all we get. And for even others of us, incarnation or reincarnation of different values or different things. The bottom line is energy has no place to go. It never is destroyed. It's just redistributed. And music unlocks energy.
Yeah.
And it unites, whereas everything else tends to divide. Music has the power to unite.
Tell us about the single that you have out now.
Yes.
Single is like really special to me, man. It's actually called Even Though I'm Blind. It's a love story of me and my lady. Of course, a good old love song. I'm just wanting her to know that, because I know, being blind, you probably experience, I wish she can see how I look.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I can't see you. I feel you. I smell you. Even taste you in some aspects. But, I still have the sense to see. And the song is just expressing that, that even though I'm blind, I could picture us together in my mind. And even though I can't see, I could imagine you as pretty as can be. Like I have a unique way of seeing. But, in the verses, I do tell her that I wish that I could see her pretty smile, I wish hang 1,000 pictures of her everywhere and gaze in her beauty, you know. So it's kind of a wish thing, but you know, I'm so grateful to have a beauty that I'm able to experience on that deeper level. And you know, that's what the song is, you know. And even if you can see, you can relate to this record because you know, beauty is, you know, it comes from a deeper place. Like you said, this girl is beautiful, but she smells horrible. Can you still be beautiful if you smell so? I don't know, but, you know.
Oh man, and even attitude. I had to wake her that she had a bad attitude, and you know, attitude, personality, all that stuff comes into play. But and there's there was a #1 song on the YouTube, and this girl was singing like "Boys Lie," but her voice was so irritating. I'm thinking like she must be pretty. That's why she's there, because that voice is irritating to me, right? and so you know, sight can cut off other senses. I would guess.
Right.
So, and so, and blindness can bring you even more depth to your vision, to your inner vision.
Innervision.
Yeah, that's hence the name Innervision. Where can we your website, you know, and spell it and all that kind of stuff? Tell people where they can go and find out more about you and book you for events and ooh, you know, might even say let's fly you out here, you know, and stuff like that.
Absolutely, man. I definitely love flying. I always put my phone on airplane mode. I don't know what would happen if I didn't, but I kind of naturally do it. But yeah, it's Kazerny Bussey. That's my name. CAZERNY BUSSEY. You can find that on, you know, all streaming platforms, all socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You know, just check me out. My direct me link is also embedded in every site, so you can contact me really easily. You can also go out to check out the organization at Even Though I'm Blind, without the apostrophe, just the I am blind at, you know, .org, eventhough-I'm-blind.org. That's what it is. Yeah, even though I'm blind, and like you're doing some cool things there as well. The Kazerny Bussey brand has a brand called C Fly. I actually have the shirt on right now. It's a C with a crown on top, and it has two big wings that are really uniquely done, like eagle/wings. And C Fly is the acronym for C Fly stands for Kazerny Forever Loves You. You know, and that's what I represent, bringing, you know, love and positivity and, you know, inspiration to my people. So yeah, that's what it is. Kazerny Bussey everywhere.
Okay. Wow. And we didn't cover that, but I know you guys, you know the business part too, because that's what Innervision we do. We teach the business of music. Are you on a SCAP or BMI? Which one of those are?
I'm with ASCAP. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, my father wouldn't have had that with me, you know. But yeah, ASCAP, you know, is the publishing company I deal with, and you know, they've been great, you know.
And then, so when you do live performances, someone, either you or someone, logs that in, so you get royalties.
Absolutely.
Man, I like it. So, if you're this is not there, you don't know what we're talking about, you know.
Well, you can find out though because of the school that you offer access to, Johnny. And you know, if you're a veteran, if you're blind, if you're otherwise physically disabled, or you know, financially challenged, Innervisionrecords.org is the best way to look that up. And hit us up on the email address at info@innervisionfm.com for the email list and you know, the newsletter.
All right. Well, I'm going to call you. I'm just calling you Mr. C, because I'm not going to kind of butcher your name.
Journey.
Just don't say Mr. C.
well, thank you for coming. And we got to have you back too. And we might, you know, I don't know, like put on one of your videos and something like that. Because every time we do something like that, YouTube always like tries to interrupt our money flow.
Right.
They do tend to cry a little bit. Our benevolent overlords don't understand that we're all in this together. Every single one of us, even them.
Yeah. So, man, thank you for coming on the show, man, and we'll definitely have you back again. And just much success to you. And if you have like put us on your mailing list. So if you have any events, even though we're out here in college, just let us know, and we'll let our audience know as well.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys for having me on. You know, you guys are doing like this exceptional work, and I just know it's going to add to us and not take away. So keep up the great work.
All right, man. I really appreciate it. And we're gonna have another show tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna be talking about, but it'll be.
There's lots of news cycle. We've got
a lot of stuff.
Trump, he got picked up over the weekend. We can always cover that. That's old news now, but we haven't covered it yet.
Yeah.
You know?
So we always come up with different ideas, and believe me, once you get the announcement, because I like to send it out the day before, if not like 3 hours before, you'll know. So anyway, thank everybody for